What's going on, Jets Nation? It is your boy Richie, and I want to break down what we heard from the general manager of the New York Jets, Joe Douglas. As we know, the New York Jets do not make any moves in the trade market today leading up to the trade deadline. The only trade that went down is the trade of McCall Hardman last week back to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jets also made a move today, adding a new player to their practice squad to bolster up the offensive line, which I'll be breaking down in this video. And I also want to give you guys my thoughts of what Joe Douglas had to say to the media today. So that being said, let's dive right into business. But before we do that, folks, please do your boy a gigantic favor by simply hitting that thumbs up button right now before we get into it. And also, feel free to comment down below your thoughts of what you saw from the New York Jets at the trade deadline and what you heard from Joe Douglas. Let's get straight into it. Now, the first quote that Joe Douglas said that got spun out of context across X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is Aaron Rodgers is expected to be back. And now that quote was tweeted out there and everybody was blowing up. Even Ian Rappaport tweeted about it. NFL people are tweeting about it, which it sounded like Joe Douglas was saying he's expecting Aaron Rodgers to return this season in terms of him playing. But that's not what he meant. He's expecting Aaron Rodgers to return full-time of being around the guys and being around the team. And he clarified after a lot of follow-up questions. I thought that was pretty funny. A lot of NFL people on Twitter was like panicking and spiraling and tweeting and then deleting their tweets. So that's the reality of sports media. You got to be first without adding context, and Joe Douglas clarified himself after that. So he's definitely impressed with Aaron Rodgers' recovery. That's number one. Another thing about the trade market, Joe Douglas said that he was on the phones with a lot of different people. He said it takes two to tango. Obviously, he said that they were in on the wide receivers, in on offensive line, talked to a lot of people, and it seemed like just nobody really was able. He was not able to find a team and a player that was, most likely coming to the Jets for a good package. Now, as a Jets fan, I'm a little disappointed we did not make any trade today. I was hopeful that the Jets will go after a guy like Ezra Cleveland, who went to the Jacksonville Jaguars for just a 6th-round pick. That's someone I would have loved to bring in. Donovan Peoples-Jones is another player I would have been interested in. He goes to the Detroit Lions. I would have liked the Jets to add a receiver or an offensive lineman. They do neither. They did bring in an offensive lineman that we're going to break down, but that wasn't via the trade market. Another thing that Joe Douglas mentioned, something to do with Bryce Huff. We all know that the Jets have to extend Bryce Huff, and he said that him and his agent, Joe Douglas and Bryce Huff's agents, have started conversations, and it's trending in the right direction. Progress has been made on an extension. He did say there's still a long way to go for the extension to be made, but that's very positive news that Joe Douglas sounded like an extension is in the works and it's trending in the right direction, because we all know that we need Bryce Huff extended long-term for these New York Jets, 110%. He has become a star of this defense next to Jermaine Johnson and Quinnen Williams and Quincy Williams and Sauce Gardner and DJ. I can keep going. We know how star-studded this New York Jets defense is. So that's another point that I heard from Joe Douglas that Jets fans should be really, really excited about. He also said that Douglas is confident that the offense will continue to improve in time. He's confident with the guys on the roster right now offensively. He's impressed with Zach Wilson's development. Obviously, the offensive line injuries is nothing to be, to gloss over. He was really frustrated about the injuries, but Joe Douglas seems to be confident in the playmakers. He loves Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson as the two guys, and Joe Douglas is confident, and hopefully that means something will progress in the right direction. Now let's get into who the Jets brought in. They signed former Pro Bowler last season, Rodger Saffold III, a former two-time Pro Bowler, was with the Buffalo Bills last year, with the Tennessee Titans as well. And this is a guy who is signed to the practice squad and going to be elevated to the active roster immediately. Now, we do not know right now if Joe Tippmann's going to be able to play for the New York Jets this Sunday or Monday night, excuse me. But at the end of the day, man, this is a big move for the New York Jets to bring in a former Pro Bowler, signed off the street, better than what we have. I mean, we have Billy Turner playing right guard, so that's a big-time get for the New York Jets. Other roster moves, Tanzel Smart is activated on the roster now with unfortunately, Al Woods being down for the season with an Achilles injury. So Tanzel Smart is back with the Jets defensive line room, and he's going to be getting playing time for the Jets defense against the LA Chargers. So that's really all my thoughts I took away from the Joe Douglas press conference, guys. No trades materialized. Joe Douglas is confident in the offense to make their progressions. He had nothing but great things to say about Aaron Rodgers' presence. Bryce Huff extension is underway. They added Pro Bowl guard. Tanzel Smart's back with the team. That's kind of all my thoughts of the trade deadline day when it comes to the New York Jets. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. That's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and let's go Jets!